And with that beautiful comeback on Split, PRX are now just one map away from meeting Fnatic in the grand finals here at Masters Tokyo. What a game that was out of PRX, and to see them be able to rally back like that despite the odds being against them is truly incredible to watch. Of course, Golden Boy here, oh, Mimi, Achilles, and High Pocket. Oh, I mean, fine, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
7-1, baby, doesn't matter. They were in
guy.
such a deficit. You get into that second half, and they just went on an absolute tear.
Yeah.
What a rally back from PRX.
And that's what is so impressive about PRX to me, that they can seemingly always rally back from these games that look unwinnable. Like you were saying, 7-1 to begin this one in favor of EG.
Yeah, this is another example of like that. Sometimes you're watching PRX and there's little slip-ups here and there. A round or two don't go their way, but it's that feast or famine, basically, ethos towards Valorant that here I think it's one of the best examples we've probably seen ever for this name in Valorant, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, of course, we do have the breakdown there of how everything played out. You can see the series layout for yourself because there was, oh, well, look at that. It's quite the run. That we got 5 in a row that PRX had, a thrifty that you thought would have been enough to maybe start to rally the cause here for EG, but really it's impressive, Mimi, to see the way that this PRX team stood firm despite that opposition.
Yeah, in the second half for PRX, what I was really liking was some of these moments of mid-round aggression. In some of the earlier maps, we saw them get punished for going for these really early aggressive plays that EG was ready for. But here it was mid-round re-pushing into B, occasionally throwing in one of these aggressive early plays with this double duelist comp. And that kind of variance they had in their ideas, I think is part of the reason EG really struggled to adapt.
Yeah, and just closing things out, you saw the first kills, the differential there between the two teams. It was monstrous for the side of EG, but nearly a third of their 4v5s were converted into a round win from the side of PRX. It's just that perseverance, that constant willingness to fight back no matter what.
And it comes back to the same point. The front line of PRX, it's always the emphasis, right? They're always ready to trade out and be so quick to react, right? As soon as that first blood is conceded, there's 2 or 3 people ready to double down on that engagement.
Yeah, what a match it was. Of course, we're going to talk about that and so much more. But first, though, we actually have Yinsu standing by with some members of PRX's family. It's Jing and Alex's mom. Take it away, Yinsu.
Thank you very much, GB. I am joined by 2 very, very special PRX supporters here in the arena. It is Jing's mum, Pearl, and Coach Alex's mum, Liying, as well. Welcome, you two.
Thank you.
Auntie Liying, this is your first time watching Alex play and the team play in real life. So what's your experience like? What's it been like being here?
I think it's amazing. I arrived this morning at 6:15 with my brother and my sister-in-law. And on the way here, I met so many PRX fans. And I took photographs with them. It's such a fun time. I mean, really amazing. So many people. I can't believe it.
Yeah, they really, really love
Can't believe
PRX
it.
out here. And Auntie Pearl, now it's not your first time. You go to every single event with Jing. You've traveled all around the world. How proud are you to see that Jing is being able to qualify for all these crazy big events and doing so well as well?
I'm very proud of him, and I know he wants to do his best. And I'm actually lost for words because I'm overwhelmed. Like for this trip, I never expected to be here. Honestly, like really, it's like mind blown for me. Yeah, like.
Yeah, I think everyone, even the players feel the same, right? Even they had to come in here without something with a sub, and they managed to make it this far, maybe even further as well. But I do want to ask, because PRX, a team we all know and love, but I also know that it's not just you two that kind of really support your boys. I know all the mum and dads behind the scenes.
Yes.
You guys are like a special team yourself, right?
Kind of. We have a Forsaken mom here and dad. And we have Mind Freak's mom and the whole family, the dad and the brother. Everyone is here. And also Forsaken's brother, elder brother, Escurate. Yeah, he's also somewhere in the crowd, yeah.
And last question very quickly for you, Auntie Liying. Alex's job is very high pressure. He has a lot of responsibilities.
Yes, I think so, yes.
Does he ever come to you for some advice? What do you tell him?
Well, most of the time I tell him during the interview, please be calm, speak slowly, say smart things.
I mean,
and all that sort of thing, but he does it himself. I don't really do anything much for him.
He's definitely doing all of that.
Okay, good.
Thank you so much for joining me. I hope they can bring it home for you guys and take it all the way.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go,
Go
PRX.
PRX.
And I'm going to throw this back to the dad of the desk. It's you, GB.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, my mother's been telling me to say smart things my whole life, and boy, oh boy, have I been letting her down.
Look where you are now.
I guess so, right? Look at me now, Ma. In any case, though, of course, shout out to the moms who make all this happen. Of course, without them, obviously we wouldn't be
there
here.
Would be no
so
players.
There would be no players. That being said, let's go ahead, though, and talk about what we should be expecting moving forward here, and also some of the matchups. I think it's worth kind of re-hitting this one again, right? Because we talked about Demon 1 and Forsaken in the past, but it's worth talking about this yet again because these are flexible players, but when they play their role, they play them so incredibly well, and the impact is felt in the server.
No, it very much is. As disappointing as it is to not have something here alongside him to go into that Jet 1v1, it's not like Forsaken is really that much further behind.
Yeah, he ain't no chump on that role.
Just looking incredible already there on Split, and we get to look forward to this matchup once again as we get ready to move into Pearl.
Yeah, and I think as well, we haven't lent too hard because it's very different how these teams play around their Jet player, right? And obviously around these two individuals, but coming into Pearl, it becomes the be-all and end-all in my eyes of a lot of the rounds that we're going to see. Again, in terms of obviously the attacking side, and Forsaken's ability to heavy anchor with the operator puts PaperX in a position to make so many other moves across the map.
And this is where EG has to answer a lot of questions. Split should have been theirs. They had it in their hand in the first half. It slips away in the second, and that was one of their two best maps in this pool. Now you're 2-1 down. You have to win Pearl straight into Ascent, and I think their Ascent is good enough, but Pearl is really where these questions lie for me, because they play this normal Harbor Viper, which they're solid at, but PaperX has been playing this double flash Phoenix comp that has worked really well for them, and I think is effective against Harbor Viper in particular.
Absolutely, because it's key to have a second flasher to be able to pop through a wall, you know, create that.
And one as fast as a Phoenix?
Sure, you can take that one, yeah. But again, it's another opportunity for PaperX to create a little chaos, apply a little more pressure in a different way that's going to throw off some of the particularly the defensive protocols for EG.
And pressure, that is the word I'm seeing right now. EG, they've been talking about how they've been playing with house money, how they have just been taking the opportunities, giving to them and running with them. But now this is the question. Can the pressure get to them at this point in the lower final, down a map against this crazy comp from PaperX? This is how they started their season, playing against Cloud9, choking a Pearl game against a Phoenix comp. And the question is, can they now, playing against a slightly different but similar comp, change that history?
I mean, EG, they do have that advantage of having been able to watch PaperX play this up against NRG, and that was not a very clean take on the Pearl map. It was down to the wire, it was into overtime. That could very well happen again, but we'll see how EG, how well they've done their homework.
Another example where we're looking towards Potter to actually make those small tweaks now to play to their own strengths.
Well, I know this crowd wants a fifth map, but the question is, are we going to get there? Let's go ahead and send it back over to Brennan Sideshow for the call.
Yeah, this is it. This is where we get into the territory where the stakes are really the highest, you know, the defining moments in a series where, you know, the outcome of this map right now is going to be defining whether we go the distance all the way to that fifth and final map, or is the series just going to end here? Is it going to be PaperX weaving the tail of them with a content creator going to the grand final?
In either situation, you just get such a stellar outcome because, like I said to start this match, it's two of the most unlikely Valorant runs of all time colliding. And so either you're getting PaperX being able to crown themselves running, or going to another grand final, I should say. No crowns quite on the line just yet. But getting another chance at a big grand final like this, with Jing playing Phoenix, or we go on to Ascent, where the last time PaperX were playing a Harbor there. Either way, it's going to be madness. And to start things out, of course, we're getting 8 players running into each other.
Yeah, why not?
Like the two Cinderella pumpkin carriages colliding down B-Long.
Let's see which one wins out. So the usual setup. We know this one if you've been watching a lot of the Americas. It's a bait and trap play. Snakebite over the top lineup that collects. Vulnerable. That's an aid of their own. Molly over the top there. Enough damage done just from it. Jing is forward out of position here, but a cascade actually gives him a bit of coverage, so we can reposition and get out of there.
That turret gives decent info. The whole of EG starting to rotate around and help Boostio defend A.
Yeah, but look at them all in the spawn. You realize they've given up a lot of that space towards mid, right
now,
into the center of the map.
Don't want to startle any PaperX fans, but Forsaken does have a shorty here as well.
Oh.
So I think they were planning something very specific that relied on them getting B control.
Yeah. And now, no dash, just the shorty. Might be able to salvage a weapon from Mindfreak. Is that why they're going back over here? Probably.
Would make sense.
Yeah, there it is. There's the gun he's looking for.
Just trying knife out to jiggle and get the ghost online.
Well, there it is. No one was ready to meet them. They're going to be hearing this, though. Footsteps abound. Jorgamo is holding it. Util waiting for this now as the fight starts to come through onto the heaven angle. Precision is name of the game, but a tap of the gun. The classic running out of bullets all the way through. Com gets brought down. Damage was done. Nanoswarm at his feet. You're feeling it right now. Turned to pieces. 11 seconds left in this round. Weak enough at the plant. This has to be stuck all the way. Pressure. It's there. Fighting towards it. CGRS brought down in the end. And Boostio leading the Chargers team. Carves out a path right through the middle.
I was worried. I was definitely concerned when Com had a classic in his hand and wasn't able to land the extra headshot he needed against blinded up HyperX players. But EG are able to convert that one. Another pistol to start the maps out. The story of these maps has so frequently been EG get the first pistol, can't actually generate too much of a snowball off the back of it, and then HyperX get the second and start to respond. How many rounds does EG need here for their fans to be confident we're going to a fifth? I don't feel like there's any number. The belief in HyperX to make any level of comeback is...
We've had so many twists and turns throughout these maps.
Here's another twist and turn. HyperX are going to force into this.
Yeah.
They pulled this one out before. I think it was in the game against NRG.
They're one of the worst teams in terms of pistol round conversions actually heading into this match.
Just win the second round.
But yeah, and part of the reason why they're so successful is because they opt into these forces all the way through. Stingers into the back of it. This time Jorgamo will meet them. All the way through, catching onto the heels of Komi, seeking to reposition. Vulnerable up, enough damage done, but the bullets spraying around. Cove in his face, he can't get the weapon out in time. It's just punishments all over the place. Dissipation of the smoke. Grants an easy sightline. Ult's already built up. Why not expend it? Round two, by the way. Round two. And still hunted him down with a rifle, but blind as a bat. Demon 1 cannot stand his ground.
Oh, what a response! And that's HyperX to a T. The force-up attack side. Utilizing the plant money and the fact that they got quite a few kills in round one. But still, I mean, this is only Stingers. And they coordinate themselves. It really does feel like a hive mind when you watch HyperX play in these kind of spots.
Yeah, easy to be on the same page when you know everybody's just sole goal is to int as hard as possible. Somebody says go, we're like, right, we're going in.
We're going. Everybody has immaculate faith in each other to be able to always go forwards. Nobody baiting. And, I mean, the fact that Jing got his ult online and is now starting to farm up the second in round 3. Ridiculous.
Forsaken, no. Oh, loses the fight out to the Classic.
Go on, give us a thrifty back the other way as well.
And it's a hard flank, isn't it? All grouped up here. Art control still going to be gained. And held on to at least partially by Boostio. Doesn't want to go down here. Mind Freak. Exploration. Picking up that mid position. Jiggle peek for the information. And there we go, meeting them. That's the rifle drop down once more. An exchange of hands back in the other direction. Nanoswarm is there. Who's going to pick this one up? It's Jorgamo. You got to know everybody's coming from that choke point. Devi is on the angle of it. Pre-fired. Lovely flash. Devi is setting the pace of this round excellently. They can't withstand it. And they're all grouped up like that. All the sight lines set on that one angle.
An excellent demonstration of how being aggressive can sometimes be the best option in those kind of situations. Rather than allowing the death ball of EG to go towards them with the two-player advantage, Devi chooses to break up the timings by finding those moments to take fights and flash his way back out. Seems a little risky sometimes, but there, played to perfection. Okay, so we stabilize a little. EG can buy this round, HyperX, 3 rifles, and a stinger on cigarettes.
The ults are starting to get flowing as well, playing for these orbs. Pushing deep out towards A. It's a lot of aggression and util used on either side of the extremities. Orb gained.
And sometimes Demon 1 is going to be posted up in A main off the back of the Trailblazer and Cascade being used. This time, nobody from EG. So what they're hoping for here is that HyperX make a lot of noise re-clearing this area. Like that, for example, the flash, the footsteps, and this will give EG the timing.
What, they're just walking up behind it. They used the initial flash, which I think was out of range of Demon 1, by the way.
Yeah,
it was holding far enough away, and they walked the rest of it.
Meanwhile, EG are just stacked over towards B and now realize that B hit is not coming. It's time to go back over to the other side of the map. But you can see that they did have a timing here. I think PRX might be in front of it, though.
And here, finally, noise cues onto the site. Stars come through, the dash on top of it. This is going to be called now, but there's no positioning to absorb any of this aggression. EG are all the way in spawn. Seekers, it's going to be pushing them back.
And there is a major retake ultimate. The Reckoning is fabulous in these kind of spots.
That's why PRX are in their spawn right now. They want to try and fight them to it. They're anticipating it. Here's the Reckoning. Do they push forward in time? They're all stunned up! A flash for a flash. Utils have to be used back and forth, back and forth. Which team will reign supreme? It looks like it's all EG! Boostio! Sublime!
Off the back of a Reckoning that couldn't fail to catch those players. If you manage to run out of your own stun circle, you're just running into somebody else's. Jorgamo's ultimate could not have found more value. And credit to PRX for trying to throw utility themselves to get out of that spot. But as soon as Boostio gets in behind, there's no hope.
Let's go, baby.
Oh,
Lovely transfer.
Let's go!
And so Boostio with that. Enough damage done across the board here. He's built up his lockdown, or may have had it prior as well, but still a big ultimate to lead into this next.
Yeah, he's just got that online with those kills, you're right. But I'm looking at Jing. You know, he's over here with the rest of the players, picking up his second Phoenix ult in round 5.
Why EG are putting such a heavy emphasis over controlling one area of the extremities, but if you do that, you can't control the other one, so they're leaving B for a bit of a flood retake. Look at the way, yeah, exactly, this util setup. Yep, it's ingenious. It's meant to punish Forsaken with an updraft dash up into heaven. He likes to do this. We know this if you've been watching a lot of these Pacific VODs, but this time
so
again,
deep.
He's just contacting in still, trying to piece out where this util is. They really haven't given anything away. The dash is now not active, and Demon One is none the wiser. They thought it was going to be completely open, at least in terms of that side. He thought his teammate had his back. Nana Swarms now going to be activated. But still, the smoke's held. Bullets rattled, straining. The lockdown will not be detaining anybody. Everybody evacuating out of the way. Still, it's planted slightly to the side. Ollie's going to be denying the first part of it. Spam onto the corner. Flash through. Ult popped off from Jing. He's blinded up though. Cannot see anything. Still gets a kill.
Boostio missed him.
What is going on? This is absolutely all over the place. Cove. Maybe the next tool to be used to try and find this one, but pushing it past, you have to try and fight close to them. Jorgamo, he's got half on it, pulled off a bit, already half, and timing has been bought. CGRS! Enough time ball with the pull from Mindfreak, and it's him that finalizes that round.
A somewhat standard post plant, though, with both teams trying to contest the defuse from coming through, but a very different way of opening this round up. I simply can't believe that PRX had the read that the alarm bot wasn't around. You saw Forsaken as he walked into the site, sniffing it around, seeing if he could find an alarm bot anywhere near.
What's going on?
And as soon as he realized that that path into B-Link was open, he found the only gap in what EG were up to.
Yeah.
What a masterful way of being able to crack open the B site there.
So many of these rounds have been opened up, paved the way through PRX's contact plays. Now, you can get away with that for a bit, but at some point EG are going to be trying to prioritize an operator. That's probably why Demon One's just using the knives. 2,400 in the bank. It's one of the ways to punish those contact plays is just by picking it up here.
This is such a stack.
Again.
This is so dangerous.
They're into the stack. Oh, they're going to flash through the wall. It's used in kind, in turn, damage done, Device still alive. That is ridiculous.
And I think they baited Boostio in.
There was an idea behind it, a snakebite towards the back of the pillar, an attempt to punish through it, into it, close to the corner though. Yeah, Boostio is just going to be holding that ground as well. No one's going to be crossing into his sight line.
And everybody going over to CGRS, who's really found the read at this point that EG are overstacking. This, of course, being an eco round, but on the previous two, we've seen many opportunities for CGRS to get deep because EG are leaning heavily one way or another. This time, though, CGRS caught, and his positioning lets Demon One know instantly that he would have been calling the rotate back over.
Demon One is not wasting time, is he? Dash is there. Over to the side, Smoke, here's the tap now. Plan, potentially online through the window. Couldn't quite land that knife. Has to back away, and damage was done to him. The reposition is smart from Mind3. Off to the side, going to be spotted out though. There's one kill, there's the second! Boostio From the jaws of defeat, he snatches it back.
What a return from EG. The play at the beginning is an interesting one. Their idea of just walking through their own wall, trying to find the timing on the Trailblazer and flashes being used. And this does enough to be able to take things down into dangerous territory where CGRS on a great look just oversteps himself slightly into Demon 1.
Nasty play.
Well done there, especially the little combo towards the end. Boostio's been a bit of a swing player deep in these playoffs. When he's feeling it, and he's having a game like this, winning so many big rounds for his team.
He's nigh unstoppable.
Here.
Draft potentially in order here with the knives in the hand of Forsaken. He's attempting to punish a high ground position that's deep onto the side while all this is happening. Jing, he was taking a fight straight to them. I'm not sure how that shot was found, but close to the corner means that they're not going to have any of this Killjoy utility, and Team 1 with the operator has now been spotted out. This has been found.
And this is why I'm saying Boostio's a bit of a swing player, because when he dies early like this, he can lose his team a game as well.
Seekers flash to the corner. All of this is intended to try and push them back.
How fortunate is that?
That was Forsaken fault.
Just the span through the smoke, I believe.
Yeah, a few bullets just landing. Luck of the draw with that one, but it's brought it even to 4 versus 4. And again, that heavy rotation, only this time a twist in it. EG, they do have some presence deep into mid. Tom was trying to be watching, actually, for this. That's a Trailblazer with immense value.
Sees everything, and Com can start sprinting on the flank.
Flash through the wall, Cosmic Divider. Jorgamo, tail in between his legs there, just still doesn't want to give up this ground. There's the Cascade, takes the fights to them anyway. Bullets raining, scattered, punching through with the shorty. And now, of course, he's favoured. Jump spot round with the movement. It's going to come down to the aim duels, and it has to be evened out that way, but it will not happen. When I was pointing out prior, Com lurked his way into mid. There was nothing to catch him there. He was the final level to it.
And so a great response in the last couple from EG. You see this first pick come through off the back of the Reckoning. But it's not the Reckoning that actually gives Jorgamo any idea about what's happening there. He's just spamming based on where the Seekers are going. And Ethan was able to get those Seekers up at the start of the round because PRX are so heavy one side of the map or the other. Look, no one really controlling B. It's extremely grouped up, A split right from the start. They've got a plan.
Dimor misses the shot, updraft. Dash, no longer available, has to smoke his exit through. Jing wants to try and put the punish onto this one, put a bit of hurt into him. They run it back, leading the charge, carves out an opening and a path for his team to follow up. Forsaken, he's so fast with it. He's walking through into the smoke, but he doesn't watch the angle, doesn't watch the corner. It's Ethan's job, and he does punish that overextension still, locking down the mid-angles. Jorgamo will fall. A bit of a breakaway.
Everything on Boostio.
Boostio, 11 HP.
They know he's here.
Has to land the shot here, but the run and gun does it. Drops him. No more util now for this side to try and push back this plan. Still a minute left. Lockdown earned. CGRS, he opts to use it close to the corner.
Don't think Ethan can contest this particularly.
Maybe. Might go for it. Is there a window for him? Off the defuse, or off the plan here. Divide doesn't opt to stick this one. Instead, just trying to take the fight to them. One player detained up close, up top. That's Team 1's job now to try and contain this one and hold it, but he oversteps it again, walking forward. CGRS with 3, and Ethan, they know where he is. To leave him to his devices, just the turret to catch the contact behind.
There's a flank on a flank here. Jing's coming through water too.
Yeah, and this is going to be, again, what Com was doing prior, the final level to it. It's a backbreaker. They're not going to expect Jing to be coming up behind. CGRS, well, he's on for the ace, denied at least that. No flip in sight, but util out in the hands of Com sets him up nice and easily. That's the buy. We could not be more even in this map, Josh. 4-4.
It's 4-4, but in absolutely chaotic fashion. PRX are going for plays. Multiple prongs of the hive mind reaching out across the map at once. Probing tendrils to see whether they can make a play happen. In that round, you have Mindfreak going for a lurk into B-Link, and when that fails, it doesn't stop CGRS, with Devi, I believe, from also probing into B-Link from a different position. PRX, the way that they play is so fluid and loose, I think partially because they don't have an IGL. They're able to group up into little duos and work these micro plays around the map superbly, and it's putting a ton of pressure on EG to try and keep up.
Now, Josh, in a previous best of 5 that we might have covered, may or may not have said, you're never being quite tested like this before. With a scenic shot over a very famous IGL. Now, that was relating to the pressure, to the circumstances in the grand finals. This is a lower bracket finals. Take it down a notch ever so slightly, but you're tested in a different way if you are EG, because you have to keep up with this pandemonium that is occurring. These are scenarios you're never going to be finding yourself in most of the time in your playing career in Valorant.
Yeah. And there's a lot of pressure on Boostio, just with the way that EG normally plays, because he's such an aggressive Sentinel player. I think back to the game that EG had against Fnatic in the upper bracket finals. He went 0-5 in first kills to first deaths on the first map, the opening map on Lotus. There was no way of recovering that. And then he had a fantastic performance on Fracture to bring them back into the game. Here as Killjoy on Pearl, he's getting tested. Whether he puts his utility to hard anchor B or whether he puts it to give them info in mid, he is going to get pushed from so many different spots. And he's got to be able to, and EG as a collective have got to be able to shut down those probing, aggressive plays by PRX. Because once they realize they can get away with them, PRX are going to turn the tempo up. Oh yeah. And that's when it gets truly dangerous. That's when they can snowball out of control. When you get scared and give them the space.
Oh yeah. They'll let loose, they'll run all over you.
That's what they're hoping for.
But if you needed any more indicator that this series is not going, or at least this map not going to anyone's expectations, these are back-to-back timeouts that are being taken. Both teams trying to make adjustments. There's an extra long one. Both teams getting a chance to talk.
Frustrating for the coaches.
Yeah.
I don't think they needed all of that time to discuss what was going on. Taking a look at the defensive setup here. EG fighting over A control so that Boostio can get the orb, I think.
Team in one. Close behind the pillar, flash in his face. Backs away though to the corner for the jump spot, so the orb is granted towards A.
Yeah, they have a good retake ult here now. And Demon 1 is giving them information whilst being set up on an aggressive line.
But look at this again, it's that little pump of utility that's just used, a bit of fire now. They're being obvious in terms of their placement here, but they love to contact up here.
That's why Demon 1's holding this angle.
Yeah. Wall up, straight across. Here's a snake bite. And a swarm from behind. Here's the lockdown. Hughes caught into the corner. It's a common angle that you can spam. You can catch him. But a flash for a flash. You got to get out of there.
Good flash from Ethan to save Demon 1.
Really nice. Supplementary utility just to peel him out. So, no casualties yet, but yet being the key word. Boostio, he's beaming them all down. 3 kills in the midst of it when his team needed it.
And the swing player there has just hit one out of the park. What a round from Boostio. I was asking what the second layer was to PRX. But I don't think they really had one there other than just decide to face check. CGRS is left with it all to do. And the spike in front of him. Don't think there's too much of a hope here. Look at the economy on PRX as well.
Yeah.
Mind Freak, Devaya really going to struggle to buy here. CGRS saving a rifle is very important for their economy.
You're exactly right. I mean, because of the economy, what a round to do it. To have a turn-up moment, but Boostio picks up 3 because it should, in theory, break this now for PRX. They got the 1 rifle to carry forwards, but might choose to force up into it, but they'll be scrambling.
They were anticipating EG being stood so much further back. They thought they were going to get that first corner for free, and the flash is posted really deep there from Divine.
I am shocked that PRX are even able to get some money going. They have no loss bonus reset here. They are just forcing up into this.
Yeah, it's not great though, is it?
3 rifles and 2 stingers. Trying to make the most of it. 1 orb away from the ult, the Seekers, online for Divine. But a presence showcased. They don't opt to... Okay, yeah, I was like, Jing, are you really going to be taking that from Divine? No, he does get off of it.
But this one much more spread out by PRX. Because they were playing for the ult orb at the beginning and didn't want to end A, it feels different from EG's point of view. Demon 1's going to look to make a peek into mid. Mind
so
Freak's
dangerous.
been lurking around here.
There are so many angles that you have to face if you are a player in this spot. Fight's taken. Somebody util. Concern at the back of their minds, the PRX players, I think, that could have been a bigger purchase.
This is slowly heading towards Demon 1 and Boostio.
Here, I've got your
Both setups there online. Forsaken, so you're really seeking to try and get something done here. Alone onto the other side, other section. 38 seconds left. Nana Swarms are dead.
He's done it.
Yeah, Forsaken. He's called the rotation and called that timing. And is there really space now for PRX to pivot and rotate and retreat? Yes, there is. I mean, they are out of there. The decision was made.
Look at Com. I mean, it doesn't really matter what CGRS does over here, because if Com drops the spike and finds a good timing, is he maybe going to collect Forsaken?
He needs to stay alive.
CGRS is fighting World War III on the other side of things.
There's two players here, but really Com just has to be the difference maker to stop this and deny the plan from coming through. Ping into the corner. Doesn't opt to use a snake bite. He just puts his orb down. He gets counter spammed. The plant's down. Oh, he could have been the difference maker. But instead shut down. And the two players that were distracted this entire time, CGRS, by the way, still alive and kicking. Absolute rat behavior from him.
From everybody on PRX this round. Once more, even the parts of the PRX attack that don't have any setup behind them, that are purely based on the distraction of their teammates, they find value.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff there. Forsaken using the pressure that the rest of his team were creating on A to find a lurk timing. Oh. And these EG players just want to keep rifles.
The economy honest. They do have money to buy for next, but maybe just not confident in the financials or mathematics behind it, even though the game does work it out for you.
Take a look at that from Forsaken. Opens up onto Jorgamo while Jing was being pushed back. And Jing in that corner, he got full blinded and he still swings and gets another one. Everybody on PRX is good for a round every now and then.
Yeah.
That's what makes them such a dangerous team. Or that's one of the things that makes them such a dangerous team. 2 rounds left in the half.
EG now set to try and disrupt a play towards the orb. I think that Jing's going to be making a play for his ult. He's only one away. But instead, it's towards mid. Alarm bot broken early. Flash through double doors. Fighting. Actually, just a molly held. This is going to be clear and close to the corner. Clearly some thought being put into this lineup. Orchestrated. Trailblazer clears through. It's going to be pulling players and leaving EG questioning, wondering where this is really going to land.
Boostio again looks like he could well be the pivot player in this round. He's chosen to take a very aggressive setup. Demon 1, though, on the fight.
Yeah, wow, what an adjustment. Really going for more there. And the dash does get out well, barely. 51 health, but a heal online.
I mean,
back up.
Forsaken took the time to go into B-Link instead of going into Art. So he didn't meet Boostio, and now he's got a strange amount of map control.
Yeah, he's just so willing.
There's
So
30
a bit
seconds.
of chaos here. There's 30 seconds. What decision is going to be reached? I mean, trying to, again, fake the A presence, I think. A lot of util being expended there. It's grabbed the attention of some of the EG players, but now they're scrambling and scurrying all the way back over towards B. Giving up a lot of space. There's 19 seconds left still. Contacting all the way through. Not giving any sort of indicator. Not a plan for Divide. Close onto the corner inside the smoke. It's all going a bit haywire. Spam onto it. Divide was at the default spot and position. This time Com doesn't give away his life, instead letting the plant go down. Player advantage still to EG. All up. Time being bought now to try and fight themselves through. It's a pull and an attempt into the back of Horse. Mindfreak still alive, but eventually falls. Spam and sprayed. The high-low setup, EG. They stop, they salvage it. There's tracks there, so 6-5. Making the most of that situation when really it was quite all over the place.
Really patient play from EG. Yeah, Com just choosing to spam instead of, you know, over-investing there, and plays his life. They go into a 4v3. Where PRX decide to play aggressive post plants. They don't try to play for the pull on the spike, that kind of thing. And EG are just able to group up together and clean it out. Puts them up, minimum an even half. But PRX have been excellent at being able to bring these back in the second, even if the score does end 7-5. Jing's got an ult, though, that can blast the B site wide open.
Yeah, all on this for the final round of the half. Jump spot. Scared of the potential of maybe an operator. We'll just get some info.
I mean, and also, look at how good EG have been at getting info over towards A main. On the rounds where nobody challenges there, Boostio goes up, gets the orb, and puts an alarm bot down. They've got 4 players ready to defend B.
Ult coming through. Molly over the top. Snake bite, body block by the dog here. Jing running out of time, can't get the kill. Demon 1 pushing even deeper now, further forwards. Trying to contend with some of the players onto this one. Another flank also occurring. Com is watching for it in Link. He knows there's Cosmic Divide. There could be someone on the other side of things. Demon 1 left to try and solve it, and there's a flank.
Here's another flank.
Halted. Forsaken. Flanks on flanks. It's watched. Boostio this time. Privy to it. Aware of it. 40 seconds left now. Just 2 players. Standing, Mind Freak and Jing. Together. Smokes separating. Dividing up into the site. Hove in the back to give a bit of room to play in, but with the lockdown planted and 28 seconds left, this is a dire situation. EG set up all the way, surely resetting. Lovely work from Mind Freak in the end, but still a little bit too much to overcome. 7-5. It's a scoreline that we're staring at here. That narrow advantage has been found by EG.
And they did a great job at dealing with the lurks towards the end of this half. They found the double lurk setup here. 1 from Com, 1 from Boostio. A big issue that they had to deal with in prior rounds and struggled. HyperX haven't been playing through mid very often on their tournament run in this map. None of the Pacific teams have particularly. So it took EG a while, but they finally figured it out. That's going to put massive pressure on the pistol.
Absolutely it will. Let's send it down to the desk to break it down so far.
Thank you so much, fellas, for that one. 7-5 is the scoreline as we get ready for the half, but immediately the thing that we were talking about before the game and definitely reared its fiery head this time around was Phoenix.
Yeah, it really did start for PRX with them doing a great job of maximizing orbs for Jing on this Phoenix and building a variety of game plans around it. We saw faster rounds like this one where they forced and on round 2 managed to close out with that Phoenix ult, and also some of these slower rounds where they were using it in the late round. I think PRX showed a lot of depth in this first half, but EG did rally back in those last few rounds.
They did, but we found ourselves in fairly familiar territory because this was the exact scoreline that we saw from PRX when they squared off against NRG. It was 7-5 at the half, them down after starting on the attack, and well, I think we know how that went. It went to overtime, and it was absolutely crazy. So that's all I can hope for this as we get ready to go into the second half.
Yeah, I think bigger picture as well with the adjustment later on in that half from EG. It almost feels like this was the approach all along. EG just wanted to kind of play damage control, damage limitation for the first half here, set themselves up so they're kind of playing with a little less pressure.
PRX are in this position with a substitute. They're somewhere where no one expected them to be, and they're now a half away from maybe making it into the grand finals, and I think they're in a good position to do it. This double flash comp is great for Flood retaking against Harbor Viper. We'll have to see if they can again rally in a second half to close out, and this time make the finals.
I mean, given what we've been seeing here from either side, the Killjoys, that has been the focus. We'll probably zoom in on that again later on, but CTRS, he's had his moment so far. Now that he gets ready to go over to that defending side as the KJ, we'll see if he can have as much impact as Boostio did.
Pay attention to those retakes. See how EG tries to stop them. This is going to be interesting. Let's send it back over to Brennan Sideshow.
Yeah, the second half of Pearl now, you know, we mentioned it's pivotal in terms of the map to decide it, whether or not we get that continuation in the series all the way to map number 5. But I think for both of these teams going to be digging at the bottom of the reserves as well. Any sort of energy levels that they can bring back up into this. And I mean, you try and listen, humans are very good at pattern recognition, Josh, but you look at that timeline, good luck.
Well, PRX have committed 4 players to pushing out B as aggressively as they possibly can, driving people into CGRS.
Running all the way back around.
Oh, what a cheeky spot for him to be playing.
Smoke hiding in. Nope, the dog sees him. Anything to spam him out. Any util at all that can clear the way. Damage is being done. Pop flash into it, reloading. He knows he's being pushed. The right click's doing so much damn work, and Ethan claims his prize. Brings him down. Site opened wide open. Plan towards the back of it as well. Looks like they want to try and make a go of it. Let's try and play for the back of the site. Flash play through the cove. Slowed down, but not for but a moment here. Still trying to hold on to control of Pit. It's a doubled up. High-low setup. Forsaken isolating one of the fights, and now they want to put the squeeze on Boostio. No, he was here from prior. Whoa! Collects the 1, collects the 3rd. In the round for him. Low enough, though. Single shot will do it, but eventually shut down Divide. No funny business, not getting away with it.
What a 3K from Boostio. He picks off one of the players, and then gives away his positioning and gets squeezed from both sides, still manages to come up with the goods. He's so frequently the key to EG's success here at Tokyo. And doing all of this whilst IGLing for the team. Supported in that regard by Ethan and Com. But in these frag-in rolls, sometimes Boostio is just making the difference. He's out here 18-8. And EG managed to win both pistols on this map.
Maybe
not that it made much difference last time with the force buy.
It really didn't. The prior indicator here has to be the dash to disengage from this one. It is that clash between them. This time, EG actually giving way to PRX. They don't want to take the fight to them, even though they do have the better weaponry. It's a recleanse of the Trailblazer. They already gave up the prize that was that ult orb. The goal, try and get Jing's ult online.
Still pretty far away, though.
Yeah.
The pistol round, not successful in the slightest from PRX. And they ended up going for a flank retake setup, where EG were extremely cautious looking for the other parts of the flank. They didn't just get roped into looking at A main, they were still paying attention to B Link and Flowers. Look at how bold Forsaken is. He just gets all the info that that's fake pressure towards B. And he can tell the rest of his team to go and stack A.
Yeah, towards mid.
Oh, it's a double pump.
Double pump, double fake. They have pulled the rotations around with this kill collected. CGRS, he falls.
30 seconds left.
Doesn't give away much. Com would be the player lurking in that position. Forsaken realizes it. Oh, I've given up the line. High tide on my face. Time to make the moment happen before him. Shots right to the cranium. Demon 1 falls. He is traded, but my God, what an effort. At this point, they don't really have the guns for it.
No, it looks extraordinarily difficult here. Jing would love to be able to pick some up to get his ult online, but other than that, EG have just got so many defensive tools to use here. PRX may end up just looking to die to Spike, but I would rather try and get their ults online, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
especially for Devi and Jing.
Yeah, they should be making a go of this. Devi starting to play towards them. Plenty of players grouped up and collected. Sheriff in his hands. Can he make much more of it? Brought down. Last two players, Mindfreak Jing, going to be going down to the Spike just to deny a chance of EG really starting to farm up some of those ults.
So another situation where Jing's not really able to get the snowball going. Quite different to the first half, where he had his ultimate to be able to win round 2. EG, for one of the first times in this series, are in a situation where they can possibly put together something dangerous on the bonus round. PRX have contested them in these second halves by winning pistol, or earlier in this map, getting a force buy out there instead. This time, big clash in A main potentially. But EG want none of it. They're just giving them the ult orb.
Yeah, perfectly willing to give them that space, not fight over it. I mean, it doesn't mean that they wait out the molly. Retaking the space now. There's a pull to slow down the Trailblazer. Still clears towards the back of box. Faking like they're taking that A main control.
Yeah, the map control game here looks like it's being played well by EG. PRX have got to be worried about A main, and now they're coming to flush out Forsaken. No support.
Such a brave angle. No support. Oh, he adjusts his aim at the wrong time of it. Flick to the side. There's no way he's taking himself back up. He's posted back up onto the position. Insanity from Forsaken, but why not?
There is a very fine line between bravery and foolishness. That may have been on the wrong side of it there. But I gotta say, if he manages to get 2 and he's in a position where he might, makes the round look incredibly different. Sometimes you gotta go for those risks.
Oh, God.
They are behind in the map.
Behind in the map now, behind in the player advantage with the plan down for EG. Set up for that success. And already PRX making a call to back away and save. It's a hard one. Letting these rounds slip away from you. Every instance now as well. These are the moments that leaving yourself kicking because you're thinking, man, didn't even get to play in this one.
Yeah, those are tough rounds for the A players. I'm thinking back, though, to PRX's game on Pearl when they played against NRG. They kind of matched this the whole way through. Up until this. The 7-5 half went up to 9-5, and then PRX responded. And this was where PRX really started to get the ball rolling and get some momentum going and put the hurt on NRG. Here, a 5-round deficit with EG's economy still booming, it looks really difficult. It looks set for us to go to a 5th map.
Truly does.
But I know that PRX don't give up on maps like this.
They'll be throwing everything at them. Timeout. Called here for PRX. Time to adjust. One of the things we haven't really touched on too much as well, Josh, you know, it's whittled it down to our top 3 at Masters Tokyo here. Representatives from EMEA, from the Americas, and also Pacific. That's what this fight is really about. Not just to make it all the way to the grand finals, but also a chance to really represent your region there at the grand finals and maybe earn an extra slot for champs.
That would be a major victory for whatever region was able to do it. In terms of the strategy adjustments here from PRX, it's easier for us to be able to tell we have access to the whole minimap. But what I'm noticing from EG, especially in that prior round, is that they're not fighting for map control early. They're going and taking it away from PRX after PRX have done that initial grab for info. So in that round, A main controlled by PRX, taken away by EG, and then PRX don't have enough utility to be able to re-clear that area instantly. And EG find that timing to pivot to the other side of the map. So sometimes it's not as good to have early map control as to save your utility to re-clear it once the attackers have been in that area, especially if you think they're going to pivot a lot instead of re-hitting. Well, that's an early push.
Yep, straight through mid. Good luck trying to catch that one still.
And Jing goes for the re-clear there.
Yeah, and it's Jing who catches the bullet to the head.
Yeah, because EG are ready for it.
So 4 versus 4, still holding the angle here. They expect and anticipate this re-clearance. Oh, really playing anti-flash as a pull to punish. Attempt of it, but really no one can really close the gap.
But look at how different this is in terms of map control. PRX now have all of that area over towards A main, and that's info.
But they had to give up mid as a result of it. You can see how passive the players are playing. It's Forsaken just looking to try and contain in case somebody is in mid. Barreling forwards now, EG. Laying claim to this area of the map, towards the site. Snakebite at the back here, spam through, onto the wall. They're walking right into him. It's a crossfire setup where people are just given individuals, and it's a spray and chance of random luck that has given this advantage to PRX.
But the plant is down, and Jorgamo, if he finds a position, finds a safe timing, he might be able to get off a reckoning. It is tough from this spot, though, because he'll never feel safe.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to give away his positioning at all here. He's just holding his ground with the rifle. No time to really pull it out here. Never a chance to make him feel safe. Come! That is insane. That's pulling that one out, precision. But eventually shut down. Divide drops to the floor. Tap onto it, running around, aimlessly hunting for Jorgamo, that last remaining player. And time, enough on the clock here. Round win for PRX. It's been a while for these guys. They earned a bit of respite, but yeah, not quite anymore. It's like 400 push-ups. They're going to be feeling it tomorrow, by the way, guys. That's dangerous stuff. You're not going to be able to lift any objects.
I mean, it doesn't get any better for them either. This is either a PRX comeback, where they put more and more rounds on the board, or it goes to 5 and they have to keep doing push-ups as PRX play a whole other map.
Yeah.
And what was this as well, though?
You can't even see anything, man.
No, that's disgusting.
Nasty.
And doesn't win them the round. So EG tried the same kind of stuff, a fight in A main, a quick pivot to B. Now they're mixing it up. Everybody slowly collecting in the B side of
Trap play off of Forsaken. Forsaken's holding contact. They have 2 people holding flashes in case.
Yeah.
And I think what... Okay.
They're just trying to bait people into them.
Yeah, it's slowed down to the point. I mean, this is going to be baiting a fight. Up front and personal. The firing line holds it. It's a pre-fire wide swing onto the corner. Jing brought down, taken out. Divide, got to second guess that now. Both teams getting themselves out of there.
And a little impatient perhaps from PRX. But as the defenders, they're constantly worried about gaps in their defense. People walking through mid, you know, B-link. And it forced them to make some kind of aggressive play. EG just holding for it. And in the right place at the right time, too. Now, the contact re-clear of A main.
Well, it's just a fake again that they're taking control of it, but with Mindfreak pushed up this hard...
Yeah, they can call their bluff.
Yeah, absolutely.
the issue here is, I don't think CJRS is going to rotate off. So even though they know it's heading towards B, there's still only 2 players able to defend.
Second holds the line. Wide face, he fell asleep at the wheel. Demon 1 takes him out, wins the aim duel. Here's the reckoning now. Parting away onto the site here. There's a Nana Swarm of flash, everything being expended just to take the space towards it. Devi tucked to the corner. He feels like he has to make a play. You can feel it. Side by side, shoulder to shoulder. Sky players not deciding to step past the smokes. Mindfreak is going to be spotted there on that flank here. Devi still pushing forwards now on the corner. Tap, trying to force the util, but Jogama pushes forwards and presses his advantage. All the way grouped up, trying to watch onto the flank. They had a player there, Mindfreak. He was offered an isolated 1 versus 1, but the time is now running a little bit too short for this one. Quick jump spot, crouched down, holding close, not revealing anything. And around is 1. Mindfreak, not enough time to really get a jog on as well and move all the way over there. This is EG taking it away, bringing themselves up to 11.
Oh, Mindfreak comes out on top in the end there. But it is a consolation, a silver lining to a dark rain cloud hovering over the top of HyperX. EG have just controlled the tempo in a way that they haven't been able to exactly on some of these prior maps. But any aggression from HyperX is getting stifled. And broadly speaking, Boostio's been able to call the right site to end on. And the right timings too. The mid part of Pearl, unexplored. No, just completely unknown territory for either team.
I've seen this before. Watching the Pacific teams try and play it, but here's something that we haven't seen in quite some time. Updraft play with the flash, set it up. A chance. Yeah, very much nearly. Forsaken, of course he wants to go for it again.
Well, this is the problem. If they allow them the whole of B long, then the lockdown can come through, and the lockdown will buy space for the Viper's pit.
And there it is.
So they want to try and contest this location early, because otherwise, you get put in a very tough spot.
Yeah, Forsaken just, I mean, doesn't really have any gun or tool to try and dissuade and push us back. Can't go for any attempt of it. 2 knives left, needs a refresher. Plant starting to go down into the cone, pushing forwards, does get a refresher traded all the way. Trying to take some space towards the back of the side. Demon 1 is not letting anything loose. Shortly to the face, Devi, none the wiser. Mindfreak left alone. Is that 1 versus 3? Enough stars that he can sow a bit of chaos, but as soon as one player takes contact, Demon 1 will shut it down.
Good trades from Demon 1 there. Punishing the HyperX players that tried to get aggressive as the pit was blooming. EG know that they've got certain timings they need to be aware of. They need to deal with the early push, and then the lockdown will control things. And then they need to deal with that secondary push as the pit is getting deployed. And after that, the ults will do their work. Very controlled map from EG. Considering that HyperX were just able to beat NRG in ridiculous fashion in overtime to set up for this match. Very impressive performance here from Evil Geniuses.
Living up to the standard of play you'd expect of the last remaining representatives of America in Masters Tokyo. Over the top. Corner being spammed, dash to back away. There was an alarm bot there. I think they were worried about a trap play. It did get triggered for but a moment.
And there was a trap play set up. Double flashes again off somebody's contact. These trap plays have not really been working, though, for HyperX because EG is so diligent with it.
Incredible diligence. Into mid, an opening is granted.
Forsaken's getting pushed into a locker in this game, too. All of his refights on Jet. He's having his lunch money taken.
Yeah. You have to go hungry, I think. Save it for map 5 because it's on the table and more. 1 round.
Yeah. It's looking disastrous. Mindfreak is going to hear this like a stampede heading towards him.
And he's got to do so much here. But does the corner get cleared? It does. Fully and entirely.
No chances.
Boostio aware of it. Out in the open. Runner back taken away. Jing. Nana Swarm at his feet. There are just no gaps in the play. EG. Sheer domination. on display here. Reckoning, flash over the top. Divide pushing forward, seeks to deny. The right click's not doing enough. Everybody falling. It's just down to Jing. Spam into the corner. 5 seconds remaining. Needs to stay alive. It's not possible. Map 5, we are going there.
And EG, what a performance. Limiting PRX with their Phoenix comp, which so many teams have struggled with, limiting PRX to only 6 rounds. On top of that, only 6 first bloods. Something we were talking about was so topsy-turvy on Split, the fact that PRX have not been getting many first kills in this match, and yet still able to turn the percentages on their head. Here, EG controlled the game from kind of from start to finish. There were some big moments, some big plays, you know, the force buy came through. But apart from that, EG's slower pace prevailed. And I think that that's somewhat similar to map 1, right? We said all the way back in map 1 on on Fracture, that it was the EG structure being able to outplay the PRX chaos. And I felt like that was the same story in this map. Doesn't mean it's going to be the same story in the 5th. Still a whole chapter to go of this tale.
Not at all, and I am so curious as to what is going to be played on Ascent, man. I mean, at full strength, this PRX squad have been pulling out some absolutely just nut stuff. I mean, with the Reyna and the Harbor at play on Ascent, normally such a standard map. In this instance, what are they going to be doing? How are they going to be putting CGRS in? I'm not too sure, but
I don't know.
It's all going to be decided there. The final map to be played here in our lower bracket finals. EG done the most to pull it back. Nice and even here. A final chance for both teams to show what they've got.
And what a clash for the lower bracket final. These 2 runs colliding.
A chance as well to try and earn the right to take it to a team that's already won lock-in. Fnatic awaiting them at the trophy, right at the seat of it, but still one more map to go. We'll see you in just a bit.